Hello guys, this is a URBONUS Q&A episode. Today we are here without our main guy Donatas, who is celebrating his kid's second birthday. So my first desire is for you to wish and send wishes to Donatas' family in the comment section down below. Today we're going with Rytis. We'll talk about Panathinaikos successful double week, reports about Filip Petrusev coming or maybe not coming back from NBA to Europe and maybe joining Olympiacos. Then, and most importantly, we are going to answer a lot of your questions that you send us on all social media. But before doing all this, we have to talk about what we are wearing today, because basically it's our own merch. BasketNews launched, let's say, a Christmas campaign and some Christmas gifts that you can buy on shopbasketnews.com. And, maybe Rytis, you can talk about more what they have inside those offers, those boxes that you can buy for your friends, for your family, for Christmas, and get a lot of also additional gifts inside of them.
Yeah, so basically it's Basket News Christmas collection. For the first time, we're trying something like this. We'll see if it's successful or not. But these are two sweatshirts we're representing, and you can buy those separately, or you can buy Christmas boxes. Basically, there are let's say 3 levels: Christmas box mini, Christmas box midi, and Christmas box maxi, which includes basically everything you can get. So, for example, in that Christmas box, you get a Christmas tree decoration, a tote bag, a Basket News design tote bag, of course, a sweatshirt, and here you can customize the size, the color, and choose from one of these designs. Also, you get a Basket News t-shirt and BM Plus 1 month subscription. And another cool thing is that if you don't really need merch, if you have enough in your closet, but you're interested in a BM Plus subscription, or you want to buy it as a gift for your friend or a family member, you can actually buy a yearly BM Plus subscription, and it will be sent to you physically as a Christmas gift, so you can put it under the Christmas tree. So just check it out, shop.basketnews.com. See if you like it or not. We're wearing these. I actually like yours more than mine.
So you say I
mean, the design is a matter of taste, but yours to me looks like minimalistic and suits me more. But I'm happy to wear this Christmas design for today. Although I'm not a huge fan of
Christmas.
No, Christmas is nice, but I'm not a huge fan of this whole Christmas fuss 1 month or month and a half before the actual. I start kind of feeling it and preparing it like a week before Christmas. So
you're not one of those
people. To me, it's a bit too early. You know, I go to a shopping mall now and I already see a Christmas tree, and it doesn't go with me. But it's just me.
You have to get ready early. Some people buy all the gifts in November. Anyway, this sweatshirt reminds me of the NBA Christmas commercial, where all the main superstars in the league at that time, I think it was 2011 or maybe a bit later.
I think it was already with Steph, so it probably was a bit later.
In the middle of 2010s. But anyway, that was legendary commercial, I would say, where just all the guys shooting in the different hoops and making the song
Jingle
Bells. That was awesome.
Yeah, and some people like these ugly Christmas sweaters. NBA teams usually launch some special edition ugly Christmas sweaters. These are not ugly.
These are not ugly.
They don't itch. They don't bite. And they're pretty comfortable.
So guys, check those out at shopbasketnews.com. We have some great gifts, so you can think of one less for your friends and get some gifts from Basket News.
If you're a hoops fan, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with our podcast. One of the main successful teams in the league right now is Panathinaikos. They have a 3-game winning streak. They had a successful double week. They won against Žalgiris, really close game. decided in the last seconds, and then they went on to beat Virtus at home. After they won by 14, but the result doesn't really say that much because the game was really intense. They won just in the, let's say, with 8 minutes remaining, they were down by 5. So it was an intense game. But Rytis, what are you liking from Panathinaikos? What you saw in the game against Žalgiris, and then just maybe some of the players or from their tendencies. Just what do you like about Panathinaikos?
Well, first of all, the fighting spirit. I don't particularly think that against Žalgiris they played their best basketball. I'm talking about offense. They had turnovers. Some players struggled shooting the ball. Only Dinos Mitoglou was very consistent shooting, cutting to the basket.
How many free throws?
They missed a lot of free throws as well. Yeah, so probably that was not the best basketball they can play, but at the same time, they had a fighting spirit, and they won the game basically because of their defense, which is not something you probably expect from Ataman's team and this roster that they built. But they were great defensively. I think it all started from Jermaine Grant. He did an amazing job guarding Keenan Evans. Evans had one of his worst games for Žalgiris in EuroLeague, as far as I remember. Yeah, in 2 years.
I think so.
He struggled. He definitely struggled, and he couldn't get his rhythm. And that's why in the fourth quarter, he was not the Keenan Evans we know. So Jermaine Grant was a huge part of it. So, yeah, I think they won a defensive battle. It wasn't a great game for both teams, but let's say Žalgiris in the fourth quarter, they found Roland Schmitz with all these pick and pop actions. And at one point, it seemed like they might run away, but Panathinaikos managed to respond. There were some clutch plays from Suliauskas, obviously. Also, the game probably, to many, felt like there were some terrible refereeing decisions, and I'm talking about both sides. To me, first of all, the offensive foul on Schmitz. I don't get it. I don't think it's a charge. It's a bad call in my opinion. But the other one, and that is a real blooper, probably the biggest blooper I've seen this season in EuroLeague so far, is Edgaras Solana was traveling from Athens to Thessaloniki, and he's not getting a call. What was it, like 6 steps, 5 steps, something like that? Anyway, for Panathinaikos, it was huge to win. I think it was big for their momentum because previously they lost 2 overtimes in Oaxaca. That was versus Maccabi versus Olympiacos. So this win for them was definitely important. Also knowing that they have a new player who's just getting into the system. They have players coming back from injuries. They still have players injured. So, and after that, Virtus, another tough game. And both games basically tested Panathinaikos' defense at the moment. So you saw the game versus Virtus.
Virtus are one of the best offensive teams, to start the championship, to start the EuroLeague. And Panathinaikos held them to 13 points in the last quarter, 15 points in the first quarter. And just that's exactly like you mentioned it. The first thing that stands out to me when I'm watching this Panathinaikos team is just with how much confidence they're playing right now. They feel like they are starting to believe they can achieve great things. The energy is different. They're winning games with their defense. They're outscoring opponents in points after turnovers. They are outscoring opponents in points in the fast break. Also, second chance points as well. You have Matthias Lesor, you have Balcerovski there. So I just see that they're pretty long defensively, actually. I mean, they have Marius Grigonis playing at the small forward position, which would say to you that, okay, they maybe lack length at that wing spot. But if you have Matthias or Balcerovski at the 5, you have Jermaine Grant, gluing your perimeter defense, giving headaches to your best ball handler. And then you have Dinos Mitoglou at the 4. I think he's really game changer here. He's really lengthy. He's playing amazing basketball, not only on the offensive side. He's shooting, I think, 70% from 2 and 53% from the 3-point. But his defense as well, I love their intensity actually. So they may lack length at that wing spot, but Marius Grigonis, we know he's a gritty player. He likes to be near you, to attach to you, to be irritating. So they're making a lot of steals. They're forcing a lot of turnovers. Duran Grant played some amazing defense against Evans. He had 5 steals in the game against Virtus. So I like what I'm seeing from PAO. I think they have turned that page from the start of the season where they were kind of trying to figure it out how we're going to win games. And now they are number 5. They have the 5th best offensive rating in the league and the 4th best defense in the league. So they're one of a few teams that are in the top 5 in both categories. Because, for example, Valencia are very good defensively, but offensively they're probably top 3 and the worst teams. Same goes with Žalgiris. They have top 5 offense, I think, but their defense is top 3 worst in this season. So PAO are one of those few teams that have great ratings on both sides of the court, and they're playing amazingly in the last. Against Virtus. And, I think this is a team on a rise. And we can also go on to talk about, we already talked about Grant, Miroglou, but Balcerovski, I think he has stepped up big time. And, he has limited minutes, but he's giving it all. Rolling ability, he's finishing really nicely around the paint. On the other side of the court, rim protection. So I think it's great overall. With a shortened rotation, they're playing really well at this moment.
Balcerovski's a promising player. I actually had an eye on him when he was a teenager and made his EuroLeague debut for Gran Canaria, and then went on to perform very well in the Euro Cup. I also think he can be used as a pick and pop threat because he has the touch, but he doesn't necessarily shoot many threes. But in the future we might see some of that as well. And also when Papa Petru is back on the court and Juancho Hernán-Gómez is also back, they will have really good balance in the team, I think. You will have size in every position. As you said, right now you're playing sort of undersized at the free, and you can see that Žalgiris wanted to expose that. They played Ulanovas in the post a lot. Just for him, it was not a good game finishing at the rim. Maybe he creates from the post a lot, but he just couldn't score. But
Grigonis was, I think, kind of holding his own.
Yeah, and it was the very first possession for Žalgiris, right?
Right.
Ulanovas posting up Grigonis. Yeah, and Jerian Grant, to me, he seems like an underrated two-way player right now in EuroLeague, because not only he does all the defensive work, he's also like a point guard facilitator offensively, because he carries the ball, so you have more energy from Suliauskas. He starts playing pick and roll when he gets the ball, but Jerian Grant is also sort of a point guard, or you can say a facilitator, another ball handler on the court. And at the same time, he's one of your best defenders. So that's a definition of a two-way player for me, and he's kind of underrated in my eyes.
We saw him in Milano. Players don't really perform there well, unless you're Nikola Mirotic on Shavon Shields.
But last year in the Euro Cup, he was great.
He was the MVP.
But you always have this question in your head, like the gap between EuroLeague and Euro Cup. Not all players from Euro Cup make it. Like, let's say Kyle Guy, he's a shooter. He was a good player for Badalona, but he's struggling to get minutes on this Panathinaikos team, and maybe there are some questions about his future in Athens. But in general, I agree they're on a rise. These 2 wins at home, defending their home court, were crucial. I think they will help them to take that next step. And now they're starting to look like serious playoff contenders. Although I have a question for you related to Žalgiris Panathinaikos game, but not necessarily related that much to Panathinaikos.
Just my last note then about Panathinaikos before going there. Kendrick Nunn started the game on Friday instead of Kostas Lukas. So I'm really interested to see, and Kostas came off the bench, just maybe reenacting what Bartzokas did with him in Olympiacos, playing against the second unit, shining there. So I'm thinking if Ergin Ataman are taking, are copying this tactic, because Lukas was averaging 3.8 turnovers before the game against Žalgiris, and maybe he also realized that playing him 30 minutes is not good enough. And obviously, now you have Kendrick Nunn. So you have to give him some, let's say, confidence boost. So he's putting him into the starting lineup, saying to him, you are the main guy here. You're the main scorer. We need you to get into the rhythm. And maybe I'm interested just to see if Slukas is going back to that role where he comes off the bench, but he finishes the game because he is just that good, in the clutch in the fourth quarter.
We will see. Maybe this decision is more related to Kendrick Nunn adjusting to his new teammates and to the team and to Europe in general. So maybe it has less to do with Slukas being like the sixth man, but the future will tell. Also, it was a double game week, so coaches try to cope with the double game week physicality, fatigue, and all that. It goes into account. So
just interested.
But now I think when everyone's healthy, they have good depth to actually play these double game weeks. Let's say some players that play extended minutes on Wednesday might play less minutes on Friday because you have good backups. But for this, you need everyone to be healthy, and you need Kendrick Nunn to actually get into that rotation and start playing. For example, versus Žalgiris, I think Kendrick Nunn had some good looks. He just couldn't make the shots.
Yeah,
which is obviously frustrating when you're a guard and you probably see yourself as a scorer and others see you as a scorer, and you get there and you have some open looks and you just cannot make them. But what I like is his effort, his body language. Yeah, he definitely seems into it.
There was one episode of where he was the only guy who ran over to help Balcerovski when he was on the ground, and he was the first one to run there from kind of far away and to help him up. I really like that. So
it seems that in time he should get better offensively. He just needs, let's say, a couple of buckets a game where he scores 10, 12 points. He feels better. But when you see that the guy has the determination and the energy, you're thinking he's gonna be all right. Also, Vildosa, probably when they signed Nunn, he's feeling like there's more pressure for him to perform because you have to fight for your spot, for your minutes. And that Žalgiris game, he also played with great energy defensively. A couple of moments, like the last play in the third quarter when Keenan Evans was going for his usual off the left 3-point pull-up shot. And Vildosa knew that it was coming, so he stood his ground and he just
stopped
the ball. Yeah, so that was also great. But I wanted to ask you about the last play from Žalgiris in that game, like just down 3 with 24 seconds to go, just casually running their play, pick and pop with Brady Manick. He slips the screen like it was the middle of the second quarter. Like, how impressed were you by that?
We praised Ryan Grant there, but I get that Žalgiris wanted to run that because it's a slip action. Brady doesn't really touch touch Grant when setting the screen, so it makes it really difficult for Duran to leave Žalgiris' best player alone and to switch onto Brady when he doesn't feel the contact. And those slip screens are really, it's an instant decision. Either you are on the switch both at the same time, or you're late. There are two guys on one player, at the same moment. So maybe because Panathinaikos, as we said, it's only 9 games for them in the EuroLeague. They are not until fully automatic, in some situations. Yeah. So it worked, but I don't think it's going to be working, in round 31 probably. But it's also smart because, Žalgiris also knew that Duran Grant is going to be glued to Keenan Evans, and you're running a slip, and Matthias Lassord wants to switch, but Duran Grant doesn't feel the screen. So he's like, or maybe he didn't hear, I don't know. So it was a smart play, worked perfectly as Kazi's designed, as it often does. Okay, let's go to talk about the reports that came out this weekend, and Yorgos Kortis had a question about it. There are rumors of a potential return of Petrusev to Europe. Some reports say Olympiacos might be interested in him. Do you think he would fit in Bartzoka's team is the first question. And the second question is, which other teams would be a good fit for him? Maybe he's going to be back to Red Star. So let's start if he is a good fit to Olympiacos, what do you think about it?
I think Olympiacos has a successful history of former Zvezda players playing for them. I think, well, these two clubs have a connection, maybe through their fan base, but
through jersey colors.
Also that. But, I mean, do they really need Filip Petrusev right now?
That's my question also.
He's a 4 and 5. It's good. Like, the versatility is good. We saw him playing in the World Cup for Serbia. He was a good backup for Milutinov. At the same time, you can put him there as a power forward. So, yeah, I mean, offensively, he's great. I don't think that these 2 months being in the NBA but not playing should affect him much. But now I'm seeing Alec Peters performing at a very high level. We just saw some good moments of Luke Sikma. You have two dominant centers, Mustafa Fall and Nikola Milutinov. Of course, Milutinov was out, so Fall was playing 30-plus minutes. But in general, you do have them. So where would you see Filip Petrusev in this picture? This was just a short part of our full Q&A episode. So if you want to see everything, please subscribe to BM Plus and you will get a lot of exclusive content.